Let me ask you a question. Why do you think that so many YouTube automation experts sell courses on the subject, despite the fact that they claim to bring in $500,000 each month? The first answer is that they earn more money by instructing you on YouTube automation than they do by maintaining a YouTube automation channel themselves. By the end of this video, the second answer would become obvious. The simplest definition of YouTube automation is just hiring a group of freelancers who are professionals in content creation to produce videos for your YouTube channel. YouTube automation appears to be a simple process that anyone can perform. In reality, it's not as simple as eating chocolates. Running and sustaining a successful channel using YouTube automation requires a lot of background work, especially in the beginning. Here is a list of 6 unpleasant truths that you would prefer to avoid knowing. Number 1. Although picking the best niche is crucial, success for your channel is not always ensured by doing so. Some gurus in YouTube automation will recommend some well-liked niches and advise you to concentrate on topics and keywords with significantly high search volume. On YouTube, there isn't a popular niche that is underserved. Before you can succeed in such niche, you would need to improve your content significantly and offer value that is competitive. You are most likely to fail 7 out of 10 times. Imagine working on a YouTube channel for weeks and months, only to see impressions and views suddenly collapse to almost nothing. Just as you are about to see the returns on your efforts, you conduct some research and discover that the topics you discuss on your channel are no longer of interest to people. You now have 2 choices. You may pivot to something altogether new and throw away the money you wasted on the earlier content. Or you can completely stop making videos for the channel. Building a channel only for it to be rendered obsolete in the near future is not necessary. Focus on niches that could support a channel-based business if you need to expand your audience. By doing this, you can reduce your reliance on YouTube promotion and AdSense money. The longevity of your channel and its contents matters a lot. Trends come and go, but some topics will continue to get consistent attention for a long period of time. Channels that fit into the following categories are good places to start looking over the upcoming decade: augmented reality and metaverse development, AI and SaaS, as well as finance, technology, and cryptocurrencies. These topics could end up being very significant even into the future. Number 2. To start your YouTube automation channel, you need adequate money. I cannot stress this enough. So many channels I personally know about failed because they had underestimated the budget for their YouTube channel. Even with the best niche, you still require a reasonable upfront financial investment to run the channel effectively in its early phases. You should expect some of your videos to be unsuccessful and others to not produce the expected results within the anticipated time frame. You will become frustrated at the end of the day and regret taking the initial effort to establish the channel. If you do not have enough cash on hand to fund the channel for however long it takes to finally break even, let's assume you set aside $1,000 for your channel over the course of a year. If after that year you realize that you must invest an additional $500 in order to break even and start seeing returns, you will undoubtedly invest the additional funds rather than letting your $1,000 go to waste. You need to have as much financial flexibility as you can. No matter how many calculations you make, it is impossible to know with certainty how much money you will ultimately need to spend in order to achieve your goals. In my opinion, you should have up to 1.5 times your budget for the first 6 months, simply in case you need to cover certain unpredicted expenses. You may need to spend more than or less than your set budget periodically. If you don't have enough cash on hand to cover certain unexpected costs, you'll have to compromise your video quality or risk losing your money, and neither option would be good for you. Another thing to keep in mind is that producing very cheap content just to stay within budget is not advisable. You may just be burning through cash for a long period of time. One good video is equivalent to 10 average videos, so you need to choose wisely and never compromise on quality just to stay within a small budget. Number 3. Avoid automating from the start. Setting up a YouTube channel from the start with the intention of automating it would be a horrible idea unless you are very certain that your channel will appeal to the proper demographic. This is due to the fact that you cannot predict which videos will succeed and which ones will finally fail in terms of viewership. It will be advisable for you to create the first few videos for the channel either manually or with the use of AI tools in order to save money on producing unsuccessful videos. You now have an idea of the videos that are most likely to succeed and those that you shouldn't keep producing for the channel once you've uploaded the first few videos and gathered some stats. Once you have some analytics, you may automate the process of creating better content by enhancing the videos that were successful, which will improve your channel's chances of success. Number 4. Not all YouTube automated channels go on to be successful. Never believe someone who guarantees success on YouTube for anyone who has a YouTube automation team. The channel's success or failure can sometimes be determined by a number of variables outside the influence of the team responsible for creating the content. Even the gurus would not disclose to you that they have tried and failed with some YouTube automation projects. Just as I previously stated, if you don't have enough cash to support your sprouting endeavors, you risk running out of money and failing to break even. You also need to invest a lot of time in background work during the launch and traction phases until your channel is effectively established. Number 5. Cheaper service does not always equate to lower quality, and pricey service does not always imply that a freelancer will provide the service you require. You might pay a freelancer $15 to complete a certain task and receive work that is appropriate for the process. A different freelancer may price you $50 to complete the same task and ultimately produce a very nice work. But it's not really what you require. Because of this, you should give yourself as much time as you can to choose each team member. Even while some freelancers on Fiverr or Upwork may have less reviews or even no ratings at all, they are still capable of completing the task. Take your time and go through as many of the samples they have provided for the gigs as you can. Don't give up looking till you find the perfect gig whose tone and style would complement your channel. The beginning stages of doing this won't be easy, but eventually you'll establish a foundation that you won't need to change for a long while. Since you've already found people you can work with for a long time, switching to another freelancer or changing team members wouldn't be necessary. Number 6. Give yourself ample time. Be aware that you can eventually be let down if your goal for starting YouTube automation is to immediately earn 6 figures per month or year in the first year. You may never be able to forecast how your channel will perform right away, and when you will ultimately break even and start to make a profit on top of your investment. It can take a month, 6 months, a year, or even longer than a year and a half. The simple message is to not be in a rush to cash out and to set your attention to the long term. You should already know the answer to the question I asked at the beginning of the video. YouTube automation is not easy, but it's a good business model. Because it's not all profit, the gurus don't actually make as much money as they claim.